Hey everybody, it's Small G Gay. Look, another Wonder Vlog. Did you guys miss me this week? I haven't vlogged in a couple of days. How's everybody doing? Looks like there will be a show tomorrow night, as per usual, 11 o'clock, live, Saturday night, Small G Gay Show. So much is happening. Since my last Wonder Vlog on Monday, Wonder Weekend, we've had even more developments on all things Palin. The Game Change movie is coming out on HBO, and it's filled with lies. Of course, the book was loaded with lies, for that matter. Specious arguments from a lot of thugs and dubious people on the GOP, a lot of rhinos, McCain people. Remember, it was filled with a lot of lies. Wasn't that the book that said she didn't know Africa was a continent? Wasn't that the book that claimed that? There were a lot of really wacky, dubious claims in that book to begin with. So the source material is not the finest, and the film looks like it's a hatchet job. And the interesting things about it is that the film was made when they thought that Palin was going to be a possible nominee, and then everyone said, an anti-Palin movie when there's no Palin candidacy, but now it's a possibility. As we're seeing first, Romney's been going down the tubes. There's talk that Romney doesn't have enough money. Can you imagine? He's used up his money. And Santorum is starting to feel the heat over some of these social issues, the contraception, quote-unquote, issue. And so he may be feeling a little bit more on that in a few minutes. And now they're talking broker convention. Oh, you got old Sarah piping in. Sarah was on a lot of shows, Governor Palin. Sarah Palin was on a lot of shows this week on television because she was in the East Coast for CPAC, and she followed up with a full media tour. She was on all the Fox shows live, one after another. And she made a lot of interesting statements on several of them, implying that we may be headed towards a broker convention, that she has the fire in her belly, and she would consider running for president if asked by the party. And I'm thinking, ding, 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 ding. I'm not saying that because, of course, I would support her. I'm saying that, but by the way, I would only support her if Newt stepped aside. My loyalty is with Newt Gingrich now. I want to make that clear. I don't just endorse a candidate and then drop them. I ride it out until it's over. That's why my Twitter account still has with Newt on it, because I'm still with Newt. I'm not going to be swayed by all of these radio personalities into liking this one and then that one and then this one and then that one. Once I've made a commitment, I'm committed. I'm just old-fashioned that way. To me, it's a moral issue, and so I'm still committed to Newt. But if he were to step aside, and if Sarah Palin were to become the GOP nominee, you're damn right I'd be thrilled. You're damn right I'd be thrilled. Like a lot of people would be thrilled. But when you think about it, this makes complete sense. And I'm just wondering how long she's been thinking about it. Because when she announced that she wasn't going to run, we were really confused because she said she wasn't going to run. She kept saying that we will be seeing more candidates enter. People said, are you going to run as a third candidate? She said no. A third-party candidate? She said no. And suddenly, you have a possibility of her getting the nomination without running in the primary. And did she have to sit this out and let the party see for themselves that they had no hope? You know, because I got news for the Bushies. What happened to Mitt's going to happen to you. We're over you too. I listened to a terrific vlog from Mr. L's Tavern, and I favorited it So check it out. It's about the GOP having to pick social issues carefully. I think the way he phrased that was wonderful, pointing out getting upset about New Jersey flying the flag half-mast for Whitney Houston is not a pressing social issue. And this is a problem with a lot of social conservatives that could come across as prudish old maids who are just uptight. And we have a decrepit country. Again, I would suggest you look to Reagan. I would suggest we look to Palin, who are social conservatives, but they are inclusive and make people feel good about it rather than wagging that finger. No one is going to vote for the wagging finger. Okay? Those of us who were around in the 80s remember how Reagan and Thatcher did have a profound effect on the culture. And also promoting a happy, optimistic view that was contagious. That's what we need to do. Now, he's kind of, up in arms about Santorum. A couple of issues. He brought up the fact that Pundit is claiming that this is an Operation Chaos type situation, and the reason why Santorum is winning, he's winning in open primaries. And the left is trying to get revenge for what the Limbaugh legions did in the last primary season, and that when they bolstered Hillary to delay Obama, and that they're getting their revenge now by voting for Santorum, who they see as the least appetizing candidate, and helping to destroy Romney, when their minds is the more appealing candidate. So this is a very disturbing theory. It seems to be picking up a little steam. There may be something to it. But then I also listened to Rush Limbaugh today, who I thought gave an incredibly moving defense of social conservatives. Very moving defense. And I thought he was especially wonderful, and this Mr. Freeze gentleman, who's getting a great deal of grief for making a joke about putting an aspirin between your legs. How they're going full throttle. This man is Satan to these liberals, and they're trying to paint Santorum along with him because this man is an associate of Santorum's, while they said that Reverend Wright, for example, had nothing to do whatsoever with Obama, that Obama couldn't be held responsible for the words of Reverend Wright, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, in a very, very moving segment, he talked about what Mr. Freeze, and I love saying that because it reminds me of Batman, Mr. Freeze, what Mr. Freeze has done to people in disaster zones, and how he's helped these poor people with medical emergencies, and how he is selflessly, unlike Mr. Obama, who's constantly seeking credit for waking up in the morning, has not been there trying to draw attention to himself, and has been selfless in his commitment to the poor of the world, the people dealing with tsunamis and earthquakes, and how he has been just such a wonderful human being, a humanitarian. And because of one remark, he's being painted as if he were like, Reverend Wright. And Obama's spiritual guru, if you will. And it was a very, very moving segment. And you know that, I mean, okay, here's the deal. I'm gay. I love the fact that Russia's like saying that we don't want to stop having fun. I think it's really important to say that Santorum has not been talking about banning birth control. And a lot of his remarks on it are things that most intelligent people would agree with. Certainly birth control, it does cause health problems, and there's a lot of issues attendant to it. It's not just something that you can just use willy-nilly. On the other hand, I also agree with Mr. L. That's a very interesting esoteric conversation, but is it necessarily the conversation we want to be having right now while we're supposedly picking a candidate for president? you know, and it's a little, I don't know, how shall I say, because I'm not talking about Michelle Bachmann. It's a little flaky, you know, and I really, again, like Sarah Palin's approach in that she lives it, she demonstrates it, she's a clear, she has chosen a social conservative worldview and way of living herself, and she offers that kind of positive role model, very much like Mr. Reagan did. But she leaves the finger waving, the finger wagging to others. It's not appropriate in you know, the leader of a country. Set an example. Set an example and lead by example, and offer a positive, inclusive vision of America. That's a winner. That's the kind of conservative that people will vote for. So, you know, it looks like a lot of this, I feel for Mr. Santorum, though, because I think he's getting the bum's rush, and I think that the left has a lot to answer for this. I think that they're the ones who are kind of creating the situation. I'm out of time. To be continued on tomorrow night's show. Kyle, I hope you enjoy this vlog. I made it just for you. And there's so much going on, I barely even scratched the surface. But to be continued, and hope everybody's doing well. Take care. Good night.